So good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to day one of our two-day mentor training. Thank you for being here. Thank you for agreeing to serve as mentors. I am Kimberly Howard. I work at the South Carolina Department of Education, and I focus on induction and mentoring. I'm going to allow my colleagues to briefly introduce themselves.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jenna Hallman. I serve as the Assistant Director at SARA. In that role, I am Program Director for our Collegiate Youth Service programs. Collegiate picks up with the Teaching Fellows program that I'll be talking with you about a little bit later on today. And then I jump in with mentoring and induction, national board certification, teacher leadership, and the Teacher of the Year program. So happy to be here with you today.
And I'm Suzanne Cody. I'm the service program facilitator at SARA. So I work with Jenna on the teacher leadership side. So everything post-collegiate essentially for our programs. So that's Teacher of the Year program, mentoring, induction, and national board support. And like they said, happy to be here with you. I hope that you're ready to learn.
Thank you, ladies. So in Module 1, we'll meet each other, we will introduce ourselves to each other, and we'll talk about the reading that you all did. In your emails that you all received prior to this training, you received an article about the beginning stages of teachers. Hopefully everybody had a chance to read it. If you didn't get a chance to read it, or if you just need a little refresher, there is a copy of the article on your tables. So what we want you to do is we want you to move a little. We want you to find someone you do not know and just share some reflections from the article. Some of the reflections, share your thoughts on the developmental stages of teachers, and introduce yourself to them. Tell them your name, tell them your district, and tell them your role. So if you don't mind, if you could just get up for a few minutes and find someone you do not know to discuss the article with. If we could go ahead and come back together. So what we want to do now is go ahead and introduce ourselves to the group. So we are going to try our very best to form a semicircle of some sort so that we could just kind of get together and introduce ourselves to each other. So if you don't mind just getting up from your seats one more time. And we're just going to do a short introduction. Tell us your name, your district, and your role. We just like to get a feel for who's in the room. All right. I guess I'll just start us off briefly just to demonstrate. I'm Kimberly Howard with the South Carolina Department of Education. I'm the Induction and Mentoring Liaison, if you don't mind.
I'm Barbara Craig, and I'm Lex 5, and I'm a leading coach.
I'm Karen Chapman. I'm Urban Elementary, and I'm a second grade teacher.
I'm Kelly Still, and also Gwendolyn Green. I am a second grade teacher at Eastland Primary School in Marion County School District.
Thank you all. You can return to your seats. Two things I learned. One, Lexington Richland 5 is in the house. And two, we have a variety of perspectives and levels of experience and areas. So we're going to have a lot of perspectives as we go through these 2 days together, and that's exciting. So, what were some of your major takeaways from the article? What were some of your major takeaways? What's something that you discussed with someone about the developmental stages of the teacher?
It's always easiest to go first because you got everything.
Yes.
And that they may flow in and out of it. You know, some of it's predictable, but depending on what day it is, it could be.
So we don't know what to expect with these teachers, right? They may be here one day and someplace else another day, right? Absolutely. Anyone else? Want to share their rich perspective?
I think after teaching for a while, you forget the stages that you went through in your first year. And so I think that it's really important to remember those stages so that you can, approach them with what they need.
Absolutely. And I think we've all been there, like you said. We forget, though, after some time, we forget that we've been there, we've gone through these same things. And so reading like this helps remind us of, what we're going to experience with these teachers as we mentor them. How do these developmental stages impact your work as a mentor? Think about the fact that these teachers will be going through these different stages. How would that impact your work with these teachers?
I think you're able to give examples, like it does refresh your brain of, oh yes, I did go through that, and how did I handle that? And give that situation or that scenario.
So since you've lived it, you're able to then say, okay, this is what you can do. You're able to offer perspective to them. Anyone else? Okay. So some of our norms that we're going to adhere to for these next 2 days. We want to be present physically and mentally. Obviously, you all are here physically, but we want you here mentally as well. We're going to engage. We're going to have to get up and move some. We're going to talk to each other some. We might ask you to say something aloud every now and then. So we just want you to be engaged throughout the process. Please use your electronic devices responsibly. We know that everybody's going to probably receive a phone call they're going to need to take here or there, maybe check an email, but we just want to do that responsibly and not allow it to take over the time that we want to share together. When in doubt, ask a question. I probably can't answer it, but these two ladies definitely can. Honor the schedule. We'll do our very best to start at 9 o'clock. Today we did. Tomorrow we'll do our very best to start at 9 o'clock. You should be able to come in at 8:30. The building opens at 8:30. When we come back from lunch, whatever time we say we'll be back, that's when we'll be prepared to start. And our day ends at 4. And just participate actively. A couple things while I'm thinking. Restrooms are straight out this door. Women on the right. The men's restroom is on the left. We don't have any vending. You probably saw that in the email, so just be prepared for that. And another thing, sometimes it gets really cold in here. I don't know what it's going to be like today, but just tomorrow you may want to bring a sweater. I don't know how cold it'll get today. So our South Carolina Mentor Train is a succinct, systematic approach to mentoring. Previously, it was a 3-day training, but we took into account a lot of literature. We took into account a lot of feedback from stakeholders, and we just made our training more appropriate to what the mentors said they wanted. So our current system focuses on 7 modules. On day 1, we'll go through the first 3 modules. We'll go through the introduction to the mentoring. We'll talk about teacher needs and our roles in fulfilling those needs. And we'll also talk about how mentors are to approach our new expanded ADEPT system. On tomorrow, we'll talk more about the mentoring cycle, how you coach the mentees, how you observe them, and what you do in your post-observation conferences. We'll also talk about TLOs, how you can make suggestions to your teachers for advancing. And by the conclusion of tomorrow, you'll be able to identify the needs of beginning teachers, compare and contrast the needs of these teachers based on the different pathways that they take to teaching, and determine your roles and responsibilities. You'll also be able to recognize some of the attributes of effective mentors, understand the components of the mentoring cycle, understand the specific skills that you'll need to carry out each step of the mentoring cycle, as well as apply your new learning. Each of you should have a mentoring handbook at your seat. This is your handbook. Feel free to write in it as we go through the different modules. There are 7 modules. Each one will have several sections, at least 2. The modules are divided by tabs. In each section, you will find the different activities that we'll do throughout this training. At the end of your book, there's references. And remember, as a mentor, you'll serve different types of teachers. Some of you will serve novice teachers who are new to the profession. Some of you are going to serve teachers who are receiving diagnostic assistance in an annual year and a second annual year. Some of you will be serving teachers who've already had experience in another district or in another state, but they're new to the state or new to the district and will receive mentoring through you. And with that, we'll move into Module 1, Section 2. And Jenna will talk to you about the importance of mentoring.